Hello and welcome back to History Tweaks for another alternate history scenario. This time, our scenario is from the recent past, namely the COVID-19 pandemic. Historically, it has been seen that pandemics create paradigm shifts in culture, society, politics, and history of a place. Large scale and deadly pandemics have a potential to crumble society and break empires and cast whole regions into dark ages. Historically, it has been seen that there is a pandemic in the world every century, and the pandemic of our century was COVID-19. And even though the COVID-19 was widespread and it did create paradigm shifts in our society, it wasn't as impactful because of the less severity of the infection. It did make us question certain social constructs and the way of working, but we were lucky that it wasn't strenuous enough to create paradigm shifts in policy and paradigm shifts in the world stage. There was hardly any civil strife, and the quick nature with which the international medical agencies handled the pandemic meant that the world was spared a lot of pain. But what if all that changed? What if COVID-19 was deadlier and propagated faster, creating strain in the social and civilian fabric of nations? Now, before we start, I would like to say the scenario is a purely intellectual exploration looking at the effects of a pandemic on the current society, and it is in no way predictive in nature. I am making this video from a position of utmost respect for all the medical personnel and utmost sensitiveness to all those who have been through the pandemic, including myself. So without further ado, let's get into it.
The mystery virus started here in the city of Wuhan.
December 2019. The newspapers are flooded with the news of a new viral outbreak in Wuhan, China. But the reports of the outbreak are suppressed and downplayed by the Chinese government. The virus shows a knack of propagating quickly and having a long gestation cycle, and its symptoms appearing late. It is soon found out by the Chinese doctors that the virus floods the lungs with fluid even before the signs of infection appears. But this news is controlled and suppressed by the Chinese government. Soon, the infection spreads to the whole of the Wuhan district, and some people manage to leave the containment zones in the district and leave the country. 13th of December 2019, the first case of the infection outside China appears in Thailand, and then on the 20th, it appears in the US. On the 30th of December 2019, the first case is reported in India in the Thrissur district of Kerala. On the 31st, two more cases appear in the state, and on the same day, Indian citizens are airlifted from Wuhan. But the downplayed nature of reporting by the Chinese government officials, a lack of representative cases outside China, and an absence of outside China infection-related deaths means that the public mood is light as the New Year celebrations continue, as the true nature of the virus isn't clear yet. On the 1st of January, a cluster of cases appear simultaneously in the Alleppey and Kasaragod districts in Kerala, and the first death is reported in the US. The WHO declares the new virus under a new name, Wuhan Originated Composite Infectious Disease 20 or WOCID 20. And it is also declared as an international health threat. On the 3rd of January, the CDC and the US Department of Medicine releases a report showing the genetic makeup of the virus, causing some concerns in the ICMR. On January the 7th, 2020, a video surfaces of a Chinese doctor which details out the full impact of the virus. The doctor claims that the virus is a hybrid between a bacterium and a virus, and hence it targets multiple bodily systems together. And it is not very easily suppressed by traditional antiviral or antibiotic doses. He also details out that if proper treatment is not given due to flooding of the lungs with fluid, the person can die within 5 days of the symptoms appearing. He also says that the symptoms appear late, approximately 21 days after infection. This raises alarms across the world, and all major airports start screening international passengers for symptoms. In the meantime, in India, another hotspot of cases develops in Mumbai, where the cases start to double every 2 days. On the other hand, the WHO declares the virus an international pandemic. In India, the state of Maharashtra imposes strict restrictions of movement in Mumbai. On January the 27th, 2020, the Prime Minister addresses the nation and appeals to the public for cooperation. He details out that there was no need to panic and the situation is under control, but he also appeals that the public abides by the recommended precautions given by the ICMR and other medical institutions. 28th of January, as the death toll crosses 100, this sparks panic among people as they start hoarding various kinds of medical supplies, causing supply chain issues. 1st of February 2020, hotspots rise in Delhi and all non-essential assembly are closed or restricted by the Delhi government. On the 5th of Feb 2020, the national government imposes restrictions on public gathering, and rumors spread that a full lockdown would follow. This causes people to panic and rush to hoard essential commodities like foodstuffs, medicines, etc., causing a shortage of supply and putting stress on the supply chains. Due to the spike in demand for medicines and the international lockdowns affecting trade, the supply chain for medicines is on the verge of collapse, and hence, on the 8th of February, the government intervenes and imposes purchase quotas on medicines and other essential commodities. 15th of Feb 2020, as the cases rise to 50,000, the government imposes a full lockdown on the country. This causes a mass exodus of construction and other blue-collar workers from the cities, which carries the virus out of the hotspots and spreading them into the country in general. February the 30th, 2020. Amid rapidly rising cases, the government of Kerala imposes a state of medical emergency and restricts assembly throughout the state. Similar restrictions are seen in cities of Mumbai, Pune, and Delhi. February the 31st, reports surface of ill treatment given to blue-collar migrants at the borders of the cities, which causes a massive outrage among the citizens, and the government is forced to dial down its measures. On March the 1st, the states of Gujarat and West Bengal seal their borders to anyone arriving from outside, as the number of cases nationally rises to 1 lakh. Videos surface of people refusing to let returning migrants into their houses, villages, and towns as the situation gets scarier and more tense. Having nowhere to go and refuse support from their fellow citizens, the migrant workers start gathering outside government offices for help and support. 5th of March 2020. The supply chain for packaged food collapses across the nation, and there are nationwide shortages for foodstuffs. 7th March 2020. Amid the case toll rising to 2 lakhs and a large gathering of migrants, especially in Bihar, the national government imposes a nationwide curfew restricting gathering and closing all public institutions down. The national stockpiles for foodstuffs are opened to even out the supply chain issues, and the international borders are sealed to anyone returning from outside. The stranded migrant workers are housed in government schools and other such public institutions which have been closed down. March the 12th, with the refuge areas flooding up, the migrants in parts of Bihar start protesting, and CRPF and SWAT teams are called in. 15th of March, Bihar government passes an interim act and declares a state of emergency and orders the protesters to be cleared out. March the 17th, amid clashes, the first shot is fired in Bihar and a migrant worker is killed at the hands of the police. This causes outrage across the nation and the security apparatus in Bihar is tightened. 20th of March 2020. President's rule is applied in Bihar and the elected assembly is dissolved. With rapidly spreading infections, a settlement is reached and migrant workers are housed by sending them to the states neighboring Bihar. West Bengal and Odisha are forced to open up their borders and resettle the said migrants. 20th of April 2020. With the national cases up to 40 lakhs, the lockdown is extended. Assam and the states of the northeast pool their resources to increase restrictions, and the Siliguri corridor and the West Bengal border is heavily guarded and sealed down. Additionally, the states of Tamil Nadu, Karnataka, and Punjab also seal their borders. In the neighboring country of Pakistan, the cases have risen up to 40,000, and due to the non-closure of religious institutions for Ramzan prayers, cases spike throughout the nation. Hence, the civilian national government of Pakistan imposes a complete lockdown on the country. On the other hand, in Bangladesh, the government had imposed a general lockdown on March 1st and was extended to April 25th. And due to this lockdown, the cases remain under 5,000. But due to the continued closure of economic institutions, the economic conditions of Bangladesh start to dwindle. India is quick to send medical and humanitarian aid, but this worsens the supply infrastructure in both nations. 1st of May 2020. The migrant worker housings become hotbeds for VOCID 20 infections as the medical infrastructure there is strained. The people start dying due to the lack of medical assistance. And soon there is a pull on demand of oxygen canisters as the demand far outstrips the supply and the national stockpiles start to collapse. 3rd of May 2020, the national government starts an initiative to provide additional oxygen supply, and trains are started from lesser affected regions like West Bengal and the Northeast to more affected regions like Maharashtra and Gujarat. 15th of May 2020, as cases reach 1 crore in India, riots erupt on the streets of Mumbai, Delhi, Bhopal, and Ahmedabad for oxygen and other necessary medical supplies. The city administration of Mumbai collapses and armed police is called in. The chief minister appeals for calm and promises to open additional oxygen plants in Maharashtra itself. In Pakistan, amid lockdowns, unrest grows in the capital as lockdowns are not lifted prior to Eid and the Jamaat-ul-Islami orders a general protest. The Prime Minister imposes movement restrictions throughout the capital and reserve police is called in. He also additionally appeals for calm and cooperation. On 24th of May 2020, thousands of people take to the streets in Pakistan in response to the Jamaat-ul-Islami strike. The cases skyrocket and the public order diminishes. The PM soon declares a state of national emergency and the assembly is dissolved and media suppressed. Over in India, 6 new oxygen plants are established and multiple more are repurposed, and oxygen expresses are started further. But this fresh supply causes further unrest as cases of black marketing are seen for oxygen canisters. Over in Bihar, as the medical infrastructure collapses, some worker groups rise up in arms, and the unrest soon reaches the capital of Patna. June the 1st, 2020, amid widespread national unrest and violence erupting in Bihar and Chhattisgarh, a state of national emergency is imposed on the orders of the president, and the parliament is dissolved. Media is censored, and martial law imposed in the places of unrest. The government of Maharashtra opposes the move of placing Mumbai under martial law and declares its open protest to what it sees as a breach of democracy. June the 2nd, 2020, the Pakistani military launches a coup and imprisons the Prime Minister of Pakistan. By July, the law and order situation in Bihar and Jharkhand collapses as the military imposes strict shoot-to-sight orders for large gathering. With this, the situation improves a little. September 2020, as the national cases rise to 30 crores in India, 70 lakhs in Pakistan, and 10 lakhs in Bangladesh, WHO declares Southeast Asia as a general exclusion and support zone and appeals the national government of all three countries to cooperate with each other. In India, the supply of oxygen starts gaining normalcy as both center and state government invest heavily in oxygen and medical infrastructure. However, the prolonged lockdown means that essential commodities are still scarce across the country, and with economic decay, closure of multiple businesses, supply chain issues, in addition to civil strife, protests break out in multiple cities demanding the repeal of the Emergency Act. October 2020, the number of new cases begin to fall, but the net cases rise up to 40 crores, while the death toll stands at 5 crores. In mid-October, a vaccine is invented in Switzerland, and the Swiss soon start a global supply. But the collapse of national economies globally cause problems. But by November 2020, the first vaccines are distributed in India. In the meantime, the national emergency government at the center passes the citizenship rules, which is a manifestation of the Citizenship Amendment Act of 2019. The Prime Minister assures that this move is important to prevent huge immigration from Bangladesh due to the national economic collapse. In Bangladesh, a 6-month-long full lockdown causes a collapse in the national economy. This, paired with flooding, means that the economy of Bangladesh rests in shambles and people flee towards India. But The move of imposing citizenship rules causes widespread revolts across the country. Soon, by the start of December 2020, the United States of America collapses into a second civil war, with the pandemic stretching the nation to its breaking point and infecting almost half of its citizens. Over in Bangladesh, a state of national emergency is declared and a strict rationing regime is established as the citizens start fleeing towards India and the national supply chains collapse. January 2021, the civil unrest grows throughout India and martial law is extended over multiple more states. In Pakistan, amid sweeping civilian strife, Balochistan declares secession from the nation and the military is called to quash the movement, which causes the army to be spread thin and hence civil unrest tears through the region of Sindh. March 2021. In India, on the pretext of malgovernance, a president's order is passed dissolving the Kerala Assembly and putting the state under president's rule. In response, the state declares secession and the Malabar's People Republic is formed. The naval port at Kochi is sieged, ships are seized, and officers forced to switch allegiance to Kerala. Soon, Kerala Reserve Police and factions of the army in Kerala start appearing on the borders in the uniforms of the People's Republic of Malabar. Malabar soon spreads as people overthrow district administrations and declare allegiance to the Republic in the districts of Mangalore, Udupi, and Nagarkoil. In response, the National Army is called into Tamil Nadu and martial law is applied in the state. The government of Tamil Nadu protests, and in return, the president passes another order to dissolve the assembly. This causes widespread revolt, and the movement of army into the state is blocked by civilians. Some regiments quickly change allegiances, and Tamil Nadu accedes to the People's Republic of Malabar, and it's named the Dravidian Republic. On the other hand, in Maharashtra, the cases start to dip. And because of the investment by the state government into the oxygen infrastructure, the oxygen situation in Maharashtra normalizes. And hence, the oxygen tanks from Maharashtra are redirected, and the manufactories set up by the state are used to supply other states where the oxygen demand is still high. In response, the Maharashtra government seals the borders and restricts any outgoing traffic for oxygen. By June 2021, the Dravidian government is formed and it enacts nationalization of all key industries. The railways are reorganized. But on the other hand, the anti-secessionist protests are brutally stamped down, just like in the military regime of India. July 2021. In Pakistan, as the stalemate between the army and the Balochi government continues, the ex-prime minister flees imprisonment and reaches Sindh, where, with the support of the people, he succeeds, forming the Republic of Sindh. In Bangladesh, as the national government loses its control, the nation descends into anarchy, and widespread unrest is seen in Chittagong and Sylhet. In India, amid standoff between the government of India and government of Maharashtra, the Assembly of Maharashtra is dissolved, and the matter is appealed in the Supreme Court by the Chief Minister, where it is also supported by the ex-Chief Minister of Bihar. In August, the court rules in favor of the union government, and in response, Maharashtra secedes from the union and forms the Federal Republic of Maharashtra, with Mumbai as its capital and having multiple federated provinces, while the major cities like Pune and Nagpur remains under the control of the central government. September 2021, the union government imposes martial law throughout the nation and calls for a direct assault on Maharashtra. As with Mumbai lost, the national economy starts suffering. In October 2021, the Agartala talks between the Chief Minister of West Bengal and the Prime Minister of Bangladesh open, where they discuss forming a union in order to support one another. Soon, an order dissolving every state assembly throughout the nation is passed by the President of India. December 2021, the state of West Bengal secedes and joins Bangladesh to form the Union of Bengal. Tripura, Sikkim, and parts of Orissa later join the union. In Maharashtra, the district governments are reorganized into provincial administrations for the interim time, and quick medical expansions and vaccine manufacturing contacts with Switzerland enables Maharashtra to bring the viral infections under control. An alliance with the Union of Bengal and Republic of Sindh is also established, and they start trading in vaccines and oxygen. As the main oxygen producing centers are lost, the Indian government starts rationing oxygen, which causes the situation in Bihar to deteriorate. Soon, a revolution breaks out, which quickly spreads to Jharkhand and Chhattisgarh. February 2022, the areas of Bihar, Jharkhand, and Chhattisgarh secede to form the Socialist Republic of Chota Nagpur. In Pakistan, as the military establishment loses control, amid cases reaching a crore, Punjab secedes and joins Sindh. This event sparks widespread revolts in the Indian state of Punjab and neighboring Himachal Pradesh. With the secession of Chota Nagpur, the remaining southern Indian states become cut off from the Indian Union, and this causes widespread unrest to grow, especially in Karnataka. Hence, Karnataka collapses into a civil war with parts of it going to Dravida and others to Maharashtra. On the other hand, Telangana also declares secession and joins Maharashtra, forming the Federal Republic of Deccan. This also causes parts of North Karnataka to join into the Federal Republic. The rest of the Karnataka forms the Union of Bangalore, and the state of Andhra Pradesh soon joins into the Union. And soon after formation, the Union of Bangalore allies itself with the Union of India. By March 2022, the state of Punjab and Himachal Pradesh joined the Republic of Sindh, and it is renamed to the Indus Republic. Taking the advantage of the disarrayed state of the Indian Army, Rajasthan, along with parts of Kutch, secedes from the Union as well. By May of 2022, Kashmir secedes from the Indian Union as well, taking parts of Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. And the northeastern states also form the Union of Purvanchal. The Deccan Republic is the first to properly get the virus into control, and by May 2024, the new cases dipped below 1,000 a day. With that, the total death toll stands at 2 crores, almost 10% of the population. As the vaccination drive in the Deccan continues, provincial elections are held for the provincial assemblies and then national elections for the Central Assembly. On the other hand, Chota Nagpur establishes a communist government where it collectivizes farms and industries, but due to lack of oxygen-making infrastructure, it is forced to buy oxygen from Bengal. They use the oxygen supplies from Bengal to bring the death rate down considerably, but as they grow increasingly authoritarian, the government of Bengal stops supplying the oxygen, causing a rise in the number of deaths and infections, which causes unrest and further clampdown by the communist government there. India, on the other hand, also brings the pandemic under control, the second entity to do so. But as the calls for removal of emergency grow stronger with the normalcy returning, the Union of India becomes increasingly militaristic and tries to win back Mumbai from Deccan. As the worldwide governments bring the pandemic into control, the international community realizes that a lot of nations have collapsed and others have suffered greatly. A rising concern grows about the nuclear stockpiles of Pakistan that are still in the hands of a rogue militarist state. And hence, with the help from Deccan, the Republic of Indus captures Islamabad and the stockpiles, and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa then secedes to Afghanistan, and the state of Pakistan ceases to exist. By May 2025, the pandemic subsides from Bengal, Dravida, Mysore, Kashmir, Northeast, and finally from Chota Nagpur. With the pandemic gone, the civil war in the subcontinent restarts. First, Deccan fights India and the Union of Bangalore. But as India becomes more and more militaristic and draws more and more international flack, Bangalore distances itself from India and breaches military ties with them and calls for peace with Deccan. Chota Nagpur, on the other hand, allies with India for security reasons. And as reports of human rights violations in Chota Nagpur grow, Bengal attacks Chota Nagpur and Deccan joins in. On the other hand, with the rising influence of the communist government, unrest in Dravida grows. Soon, Deccan is able to win back parts of Madhya Pradesh and Chhattisgarh from India and Chota Nagpur respectively. May 2026. Amid rising disagreements with the establishment, Tamil Nadu and parts of erstwhile Travancore secede from the Dravidian People's Republic to form the Republic of Dravida Nadu. And Dravida Nadu soon forms an alliance with the Union of Bangalore. January 2027, the Premier of India passes away, causing turmoil and allowing Deccan to win parts of Gujarat, while Bengal captures almost everything of erstwhile Bihar. February 2027, Bangalore has its first presidential elections and Bengal forms its first elected assembly. In Bangalore, the president is given minimal powers, but he or she is elected for life. Additionally, a union assembly is elected, which elects a prime minister for 6 years. There are provisions for disqualifying elections for president as well as prime minister put in place. Bengal, on the other hand, forms a federated republic similar to erstwhile India. The Republic of Indus forms a federated republic centered at Lahore, while Balochistan forms a tribal republic and acts as a buffer state. Rajasthan and Kashmir form presidential republics like the erstwhile US, but they vary on the scales of democracy. By May 2027, Dravidan Nadu and Bangalore completely annex and divide the erstwhile state of Kerala, and Dravidan Nadu consolidates itself into a federated socialist republic based on the Dravidian model of socialism. By 2028, Chota Nagpur falls and is annexed by Bengal and Deccan. In December of 2028, the erstwhile state of India sues for peace. It loses parts of Gujarat, Surat and Vadodara, Madhya Pradesh, and parts of Chhattisgarh. With that, India ceases to exist and is renamed the Union of Delhi. In the following years, by 2030, we could see Delhi tighten around a single party dictatorship. Northeast could also go on a similar route, following its presidential path into a similar dictatorship, and hence the two would forge close alliance with each other. While the hegemons of Deccan and Bengal share the economic and political prosperity, and due to this prosperity, are more likely to remain democracies. On the other hand, if Rajasthan remains democratic, we could see a new alliance opportunity open up between Deccan and Rajasthan. Sindh would surely drift away from Deccan and would form a new alliance with Kashmir. In the south, Dravidan Nadu and Bangalore would unite to form a South Indian power, which would be neutral but sympathetic to the democratic axis. With this, when multiple axes form, the subcontinent settles into a new power balance, with each of the power remembering the old days and wanting to reunite India or even the subcontinent, but under their own banner. And by the 2040s and 50s, as society, culture, and civilization heals from the trauma of the pandemic, the eyes of each of the powers are set on each other to form a new India. And that is where I'll end this for now. Thank you for watching, and I hope you liked the video. This time I've tried something a little different. Let me know if you want to watch similar scenarios about other parts of the world based on the similar premise. And with that, it would be wrong on my part to not apologize for the lack of videos for the past 8 months. But I had been caught up in a lot of academics, competitions, etc. But nevertheless, I would thank all of you for your support through this time and to keep your hopes in me. I would try to do this more regularly henceforth, and I promise to keep this alive. With that, don't forget to like and share to support the growing empire of ours and subscribe to join its administrative ranks. Thank you and have a great day.